Hey, everybody. This is Tanya Gustafson, your nutritionist and fitness coach. Welcome again to episode number 2 of Live Fit with Tanya. So thank you for joining in today. Today is a really hot topic, as you can tell by the little screenshot there. Hot flashes. So ladies, this one's for you. Guys, this might be for you too. You know, if you have a lady who's suffering from this, you might want to listen, take some notes, and share this with her because it really is something that's plagues a lot of women in my age category. So anywhere, honestly, from the late 30s all the way into the 60s and sometimes into the 70s. And that's really quite disturbing. For a lot of ladies, it's disruptive. It's disruptive in your life, as you know. It's disruptive in your family, could be disruptive in your business, in your job, in your day-to-day. I mean, so the whole thing with menopause is that people just say, well, it just happens when we get older, and we have to accept that, and we're going to get hot flashes. You're going to get hot flashes. You just wait, and you're going to get that weight gain around the middle. Nothing you can do about it. And I just don't sleep so well anymore. I've heard all of these things from women. And it's really sad because it doesn't have to happen. And so what I'm going to tell you is that menopause and the hot flashes especially, and all the other things that go with it, the weight gain, the sleep interrupted, the mood swings, that hot and cold, the sweats, whatever, all of that stuff comes from a lack of balance. And we always want to keep our bodies in balance. I've got some show notes here on my phone, just so I wouldn't miss anything that I wanted to tell you, because it's really important stuff. So lots of things that can happen from, during menopause: weight gain, right? Low muscle tone, hormone imbalance. You get that squishy bit around the front. Your metabolism slows down, again, with the not sleeping well. And then, of course, those nasty hot flashes. And so just wanted, so if anyone's ever experienced this, put your comments in there and let me know what you've been doing, or if you have been doing anything to help alleviate those, and if you found any success. So I have found success. I've been coaching this program for several years now, almost 9 years, with great success. Lots of groups with ladies suffering from menopause, postmenopausal even, who have just found remarkable results by putting things into play in their lives to create balance. And we do that a lot with food and just different, the 6 components of health. So anyone that's been following me before, you may have heard PFC every 3, you may have heard the 6 components of health, you may have heard, a few different terms like this. And we're going to touch on a few of those today, because they are totally relevant with helping you cool off and get rid of those hot flashes. Because honestly, like my little caption said, hot flashes are not cool. And ladies, you are hot in the way that you are beautiful and wonderful and lovely. And we want you to feel that way. And the only place you should feel hot and sweaty is on a beach somewhere on a tropical vacation, or maybe at the gym or something like that. But, not in your day-to-day life, not in the middle of the night, not in the middle of your job, not in the middle of picking up kids from school, not when you wake up first thing in the morning, just not. So what can you do? Okay, so here we go. We've talked about that it's not normal. Okay. So it's a hormone imbalance. And the way we create balance in our bodies is to make sure we're fueling it properly. So I'm going to back up a little bit. Okay. So bear with me here. So if you're, someone who has kids, you'll totally grab this. If you don't have any kids, if you never had them, that's okay too. I mean, I'm sure you've been around small children, you kind of get it, right? So thinking about when your babies were small, right? When they're first born or when they're littles, what is the first thing they want to do when they get up? Eat, right? You've got that. They want to eat. And then every, 3-4 hours throughout the day, they wake up, they nurse, they have a bottle, whatever it is, they go back to sleep. As they get to be a toddler, they're always wanting snacks. You leave the house. Heaven forbid you should leave the house without a snack, right? How many moms out there can relate to that? You're heading out the door and you've forgotten the snack, and the kids drive you nuts through the whole trip that you have to go on. So, you prepare and you bring things with you. That's because that's the way our bodies were designed to function, right? You want to eat within an hour of when you get up, then every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day to keep that body fueled and in balance. That's the key words there. Okay. It creates homeostasis in your body. So homeostasis is just a fancy scientific word for balance. It's the place where your blood sugar is stabilized, your hormones are balanced, your organs all function well, all your body's systems are working together in synergy. You're not fighting against your body. And so, I deal a lot with people who come to me for weight loss, and lots of them are in this menopausal area. Some are not, or some of them they are, but that's really not why they came to me. But then they get this benefit afterwards. And so we take care of one when we take care of the other. So for those ladies who are saying, yeah, the hot flashes and I've gained weight and my metabolism is slow and I just can't seem to get it all together. What is happening to me? Well, yeah, it has to do with age, sure, because our hormones change. But it does have to do with what we consistently do over a period of time, okay? So it's not necessarily about your age number. It's what you've consistently been doing cumulatively over time, okay? So whatever you've done with your health and your food and your balancing to either create balance or imbalance, the longer you've done that, the more severe or impactful or good things will be in your life. Okay. So if you've been somebody who's been balancing a lot with your food, you've had great results, you may just need to tweak it a little bit. This probably is not the podcast for you because you're doing okay already. And you're thinking, well, what are these ladies complaining about? Because this doesn't happen to me. Maybe I'm lucky. Maybe it's good genes. Maybe it's, who knows? And there is something to be said, for our genetics. However, genetics plays far less now. Experts are saying maybe only about as 15% of the outcome of our health. We used to say about 30 and less. Now it's maybe about 15 and less. So there's that so even if you just average, go, halfway, kind of go 20%, that means that you control about 80% of the outcome of your health. And that has to do with all these hot flashes and weight gain and even, reversing disease, even recovering from injury, all those kinds of things. Those are all part of your total overall health. And we want to work with that. So when we focus on the things that we're not doing to support optimal health and balance, then the things that are out of balance and not healthy come together and your body works in synergy and you just feel so good. So, all right, so here's some tips. So, let's go with breakfast, right? A lot of people are super busy. They skip breakfast. If that's you, raise your hand. You know who I'm talking to, right? You maybe grab a coffee at Starbucks on the way to work. You fed your kids and you're in the car. You're quickly grabbing your granola bar or something like that in the car. And you're really not fueling properly. You're not really thinking about it. So what happens is when you skip that breakfast, so breakfast literally means break the fast. That's where we got the name from, okay? So you fasted all night long because you went to sleep. You didn't eat anything, obviously, in the middle of the night. It's been a long time. You didn't have anything to eat or drink since dinner time or whenever. And then you wake up in the morning. Now your blood sugar is a bit low because your body's used up all that you've given it, okay? And so you wake up in the morning, your blood sugar is kind of low. And so that's okay if it's kind of low there. But if you keep pushing your body and making demands on it because now you're awake, maybe you've gone to the gym, you go out for a run, or maybe you're just getting the kids ready for school and you're getting in the car and you're off to work, you've done a whole bunch of stuff and your body's now, you're putting demands on it. It has to function, but yet you haven't given it any fuel. Now we wouldn't get in our car, go to drive, across town and go, oh, yeah, I'm almost on empty. I don't need any gas right now. I'll just wait till tomorrow. We don't do that, right? We go to the gas station, we fill it up, we check the oil, we make sure everything's working. Well, we need to do that with our bodies because our bodies are our vehicle that drives us through life, okay? And how you take care of this vehicle. Think about if it really was like your car. We only get one body, right? If you don't take care of it, where will you live? If you only ever had one car or one truck, whatever it is you drive, one vehicle, and you could never get a new one. You could never trade it in. You could never get an upgrade. You can fix some of the parts. Sometimes you can get replacements, but by and large, that's the one you're going to deal with. That's what our bodies are. So we have to make sure we take optimal care of these and make sure that they're functioning optimally. Okay. So fueling with breakfast is a major yes in the morning. Okay. Your mother was right if she used to tell you, eat your breakfast before you go to school. You'll think better and you'll have a better day. She was right. Absolutely right. Because when we feed our body, we're also feeding our brain. So what happens if you skip breakfast and you don't feed your body? Well, what happens to your brain? Well, newsflash, people, the brain still takes food. It will not stop sourcing out food. so that it can change it to glucose and send it up to your brain to make it function. So now where is it getting this food from if you're not giving it food? It's taking it from your muscle, okay? And so that actually now slows down your metabolism. That's how your metabolism slows down, because now your body has less muscle, and your muscle is what takes up the excess fat and burns it off as energy. So if you have less muscle, that means you have a higher fat percentage. All right, and you can see that'll show up in that bit around the middle that's all squishy and yucky that you're not happy with. So if that's you thinking about that, okay, so then now we've solved the breakfast thing. You got to buy into breakfast. You got to buy into it. And we'll talk about what you're going to eat for breakfast in a few minutes, but you need to have the breakfast. And then thinking about back to our babies, right? And our little kids, when did they eat? When do they want to eat? Even teenagers, they come home after school, they want a snack, right? What do? That eating, that fueling every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day, okay? That consistency keeps your body humming like this. So back to the car analogy, it's like you put your, get in your car and you're driving to Vancouver, summertime, there's clear roads, sun shining, you put it on cruise control, you are getting top-notch fuel economy, right? It's great. You are sailing away, great gas mileage. Then you hit downtown Vancouver and you come to a screeching halt in the city. There's cars everywhere. You stop, go. You hit every red light. It's uncomfortable. It's not fun. Your gas mileage goes to crap, right? And okay, so that's what happens in our body. When we fuel it properly, we're on cruise control. Here it goes. Your metabolism is turned on and it stays on. You are a fat burning machine. Why is that important with hot flashes? It's great for the squishy middle, but it's important for the hot flashes too, because when your blood sugar is stable, your hormones are also stable, right? Contrast that to hitting the downtown traffic, all the red lights, your stop, go. That's uncomfortable to drive in. Well, it's uncomfortable for your body, and that shows up when you're skipping meals, taking too long between meals, not fueling properly, poor quality food choices, all that kind of stuff. That's like the stop, go when you hit the downtown traffic, and that shows up in the hot flashes as you're in the menopausal age, the weight gain, possibly headaches, possibly lack of concentration and focus, poor sleep, irritability, mood swings. It's just a whole nasty plethora of things that you don't have to be experiencing if you would just balance and create that homeostasis in your body, okay? So eating breakfast, eating within that hour of when you get up, and eating every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day, up until about an hour and a half before you go to bed. So if you were one of those people that is subscribing to I heard Oprah years ago say, don't eat after 6. Well, what about those people who work nights or shift work? Or what happens if you had dinner at 5 and you're a night owl and you're up till midnight or 1 or 2 in the morning? That's a very long time. Remember, our brain never shuts off. Our organs never shut off. Things are still working. Things are still needing fuel, especially the brain. Remember, if we don't give it some, where is it going to get it from? The muscle. What does that mean? Less muscle equals more fat, okay? Which also puts imbalance in your body, which throws the hormones out of whack, and then we're back to the hot flashes again. So you want to think about all these little moving parts. And so when I say every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day, so think about, when do you get up in the morning and when do you go to bed? Divide by 3, and it's going to tell you about how many times you need to eat. So up until about an hour and a half before you go to bed is a good time. And that can be person dependent too as well. And we can get more specific if you decide you want to give me a call and we can work together. But that's a really great generalized layout there for everybody. It's a good start. And then we tweak it as you go along to specifically fit you and your needs. So now, what do you eat? You're eating within an hour of when you get up. You're eating every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day, up until about an hour and a half before bed. So what should you eat? Okay, quality does matter, people. And for those people out there who say, well, eating healthy is expensive, I challenge you, if you're one of those people or someone in your family is like that and you're trying to get them to switch, go check the cupboards, check the fridge, check the freezer, and pull out all those things that you really don't need, that aren't healthy. You know what they are. I don't have to tell you. You know what they are. You're going to go and you go, yeah, I got that bag of chips up there and I've got the ice cream in there. You know what they are, right? Pull them out and put them all on the counter and take a look and see how much you probably spent on that. Okay, now how much you would have spent on that, and you bought some healthy food too, because most people do. Now, if you took all of that and put that towards the healthy, balanced food, and once in a while you did the other, you're going to find that it's not that expensive after all. Okay, trust me on that. Done the math, been there, done that, done the math. Okay, so now that's out of the way. Healthy is not that expensive, and healthy foods that are nutrient dense, so things that are not packaged and processed, things that have deep rich colors to them, those have lots of vitamins and minerals. They usually have lots of fiber as well too. Things like that. Lean healthy meats. We're going to try and choose organic and non-GMO whenever possible. And if you can't, that's okay. Then you start where you're at, and that's okay. As long as you're doing better today than you did yesterday, you're going to get better results tomorrow. That's just the way it goes. And we talk about the 1% rule, and I'll come back to that at the end because that's really important for people to know. But okay, so you're going to put these things together. You're going to put a protein together and a fat and a carb. Yes, I said the C word. I said carbs. And yes, I said fat. You need fat to burn fat, people. Okay. If you don't have a healthy fat coming into your body every day, you need that for the balance. You need that for your brain. You need that to slow down digestion and help with the metabolism to burn off that other fat. That whole movement back in the 80s and 90s where it was saying, oh, low fat, low fat, low fat, low fat. People are having heart attacks because they're having too much fat, and you should take low fat. Well, all of that whole movement, what it did was channel people into choosing packaged items that said low fat or no fat. And the two things that make food taste good are fat and sugar. So if they're taking out the fat, what are they putting in? Sugar, right? Or it's a processed item with maybe not so much sugar, but if it's processed, it turns directly to sugar in your body. And what happens when you have sugar? Your blood sugar spikes, and you store fat. Whereas when you eat a healthy fat, it goes in and your body digests it and it goes like this. Okay, so you get that nice healthy burn. You don't get the spike because whenever we spike, back to the skipping meals, right? If we're skipping meals and our blood sugar drops, we burn the muscle. Contrary to that, now that we've skipped meals, when it's time for a meal, we get super hungry, right? Ever been to that place where you feel like, oh my gosh, I just need to gnaw my arm off. I am so starving. Everyone's been there, right? That is your body feeding off of itself. It's eating its own muscle. Yeah, it's kind of not a nice image, right? So you don't want to make it go there. And then you eat too much food because you're just so ravenous. And that's when your blood sugar spikes again. So your blood sugar can spike and store fat from eating a healthy plate of food, but too much. It can spike and store fat by processed food. It can spike and store fat from sugars and alcohols and things like that when there's nothing to come alongside and temper that. So we want to avoid things that cause the blood sugar to spike and store fat because that's also throwing our body out of balance. And when we're out of balance, we not only store fat, but our hormones are out of balance, which means we're putting ourselves at more risk for more hot flashes and more severe hot flashes, right? So as we can put ourselves in balance, the longer we put ourselves in balance, it's not going to happen overnight, ladies. It's like, it's kind of the same as weight loss, right? It didn't come on overnight. It's not going to go off overnight. So now the hot flashes, they probably come on for a little bit, staggered, come on, and now they're kind of full on, and maybe they get worse in some ways. And you'll know, every woman who's had hot flashes has told me, they have triggers, they know what they are. So of course we want to avoid those, but we also still want to put our body in balance and create that safe space and balanced space for our bodies so that we can experience in life without them, basically, or minimize them as much as possible. And the longer you put your body into balance and be consistent with that, the greater your chances are of that. It's going to decrease much faster. Okay. The better you balance, the longer you do it, it's going to keep rolling that back. Okay. And it's also going to roll off the roll around the middle that comes with the lack of hormone balance and menopause and weight gain and all that kind of stuff. So double duty, 2 for 1, which is what we like, right? And then, of course, because everything is in balance, you're going to be sleeping better. You're going to have more energy. Who doesn't want that, right? So eating within the hour of when you get up, the first hour of when you get up. Eating every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day. So do the math. How many, when do I get up? When do I go to bed? How many hours a day am I up? Divide by 3. You'll get the number of meals. Because that works on the weekend too. What happens if you sleep in? What happens if you go to bed early? What happens if you stay up late? Okay. There's all those variables. I can't just say eat X number of meals per day because we're not all the same, right? When you drive to Vancouver or when you drive to downtown to the mall, it's not the same amount of fuel that you use in your car. Same as your body. If you're awake longer, you're going to use more fuel than if you are going to bed early, right? Or getting up late, something like that. So think about it logically. It has to be logical for you. It has to be based on science. Anything that you do, ladies, with your health, ladies and gentlemen, anybody actually, make sure whatever you're diving into is based on science. I tell this to people all the time. Even if they choose not to coach with me, I said, that's fine. Whatever you're going to do, make sure it's based on science. Make sure it makes sense to you, okay? That you can do this for life, because if not, why bother? It's just going to be a source of frustration. And then think about, would I put my kids on it? Well, think about your littles and think about your teenagers. Would I let them eat breakfast? Sure. Would I let them eat every 3 to 4 hours when they're hungry? Sure. Would I let them have a snack before bed? Sure. Would I tell them to eat healthy food and balance a protein, fat, and a carb together? How is that? That's not a bad thing. Sure, I could do that. Okay. If it's safe for them, it's safe for you. And if it's not safe for them, whatever program you're thinking about, taking, hormone blockers or hormones or things like that, or injections or drops or crazy diets and things like that. If it's not safe for a small body, it's not safe for your body, because your body's the same thing on the inside. We're just a bigger human. Okay. Just thinking about it that way. It's all logical, people. It's not rocket science, but it is based in science, what I teach people. So thinking about that, okay, so how do you put together your protein, fat, and carb? It can be all in one item. You can have a great protein shake if you're not a breakfast person. That is probably the best way to go for you. If you're that person who just grabs that cup of coffee quickly on the way out the door, or if you're already making a smoothie, but it doesn't have the right balance, and you're wondering, well, okay, I've got healthy stuff in here, but what she's telling me, it's not balanced. Generally, people are missing the protein in there or the fat, or sometimes they have way too much fat in there, because they've added, all things together. So they've added flaxseed and hemp seed or hemp hearts and chia seeds and some coconut oil, and they put it all together in one. And you're looking at that going, whoa, okay, you've got great fats in here. Let's spread those out throughout the day. We're going to just put a smaller amount in there, and let's make it more balanced. It'll work for you. Okay. So things like that, think logically again. So you want to have your protein, your fat, and your carb together. So you can do that with some eggs and fruit in the morning before you head off. That's a great breakfast also for your kids too. If that's not, if the whole sit down thing doesn't work for you, and you're on the go and you're usually just this coffee person, what I totally recommend is to grab a shaker bottle, throw some water in there, throw a scoop of a good quality protein powder. I like the Zan brand. You can't really see it behind me. This is my favorite. Zan right here. It's on my website at fuelignitethrive.com. I got a link to all my favorites on there. And so you can check that out. But because it tastes good and it doesn't clump when you shake it just with water in your car, it's a good thing, right? Anyway, so find something that is good quality, something that stabilizes your blood sugar, which means it needs to have a protein, a fat, and a carb all together, unless you want to be at home and mix it and add them all yourself and make it balanced, right? If you just need to grab and go and you want it to taste good, the Zen is your friend. Just saying. Okay. So again, it's on my website at fuelignitethrive.com. And click on the product link. It's right there. fuelignitethrive.com, product link, boom, right there. Lots of good stuff. So that would be a great thing for you first thing in the morning, having your shake on the way to work. Perfect. And then you've, hopefully made some dinner from the night before. You take that for work. You have a snack in between, thinking, and if you have to eat at a certain time because of your job or because you want to have dinner with your family or whatever it is, think about that time and then back up back up 3 to 4 hours. So you know when to start your first meal. So you're going throughout the day well. And you want to think about smaller portions. Okay. So as opposed to, oh my gosh, I'm starving and I'm having this massive plate of food and I'm only eating once or twice a day. Thinking about if you portioned that food down and had it, spread out throughout the day several times. Think about how many meals you need for how many hours you're up, right? We talked about that already. That's going to keep you stabilized. It's not going to cause those violent spikes and crashes where you're storing fat and burning muscle. It's going to keep you right here flowing along, feeling good, right in the fat burning zone. Here we go. Just like this, you're going to be rocking along all day, every day. Your metabolism's turned on. It's fired up and it's burning fat. You're a fat burning machine. But your body's not feeling hot. You're feeling hot because you start to look great, but you're not feeling hot in that way where you're like, oh my goodness, like this with the sweat. I've seen people do that, right? They're like, whew, okay, whew, I gotta just give me a minute. I've seen that. And I just feel so bad for those ladies. So again, like I said, it's not going to, be a switch that happens right overnight. But I can tell you from several groups that I've coached here in my local town here in Kelowna at our rec center when we could meet before in groups. I was coaching ladies in groups. There was a few gentlemen in the groups. During the day, we had these ladies. And because it was a during the day class, there were a lot of people who were, in that age category, in our age category, for you that are watching, that are at risk and that were having these hot flashes, that were having menopausal results. And that was a big question for a lot of them. And I remember, after a couple months, so it was like we did a 4-week and then we did another 4-week. And the ladies who came back for the second 4 weeks, as we got to the end of that second 4 weeks, so about the 8-week-ish mark, they were telling the new people that joined. So it was kind of like a rolling thing. So people didn't have to start at one particular day. So some ladies were 8 weeks in when some were just starting, right? Okay. Just so you get the picture. So as some new people would join the group, the veterans, I'll call them the veterans, were now telling those people, yeah, like 99% of my menopause symptoms are gone. Yeah, my hot flashes are way down. I've heard that I don't know how many times. I used to get them to fill out a paper comment form at the end. So I, because sometimes people don't like to speak up in a group. They don't like to tell their personal stuff in a group. They're just there because it's, support and other people are doing it and they can, ask them questions. But some people don't like to share in a group. So when I give them the little form, it's really great. And I did actually have a lady afterwards email me and say, Tanya, 99% of my menopause symptoms were gone. And I just feel so great. And we're years past her group now. And she has still maintained the weight loss that she got. And she's feeling great. She's got energy. Her husband's now struggling with an illness and she's able to care for him. And so that's the important thing. What we do to build our health and build our lives gives us that strength and that confidence and that ability to now go out and live our lives and take care of those around us if we need to, and just do what we want to do or need to do on a daily basis without having these other things interrupt so much. Of course, there's always going to be things that come up, but when you set yourself up to win, when you've set yourself up and focused on optimal health and focused on driving that home in your body, in your family, you're going to actually be the example for your circle of friends and your family. And they're going to want to join you too, which is very cool. So then you can share your knowledge with them and get more people healthier, get more ladies to minimize their menopausal results. Say no to meno, right? Like we can get them to, we can get more women on board with feeling good about themselves, good about their bodies and good in their bodies as they are getting older. Because you know what, as your kids are getting older and they're leaving home and you and your husband want to go travel when we can travel again and do all those fun things and spend time, the last thing you want to be doing is worrying about, I'm not feeling good. This is embarrassing. I don't want to go to a restaurant because I'm all in a cold, or I'm all in a hot sweater or cold sweater, or whatever it happens to you. And you're embarrassed. Or you've gained weight and you just don't feel good about your body, so you don't want to go to the beach. You're denying yourself all these fun pleasures of life, and that's not how you want to live. Trust me. You want to live fully, completely. You want to live fit, just like this podcast. So thank you, ladies and gents, for the gents that are on, for joining. If you found this information helpful, please, please, please like it. Subscribe below so you get notifications when I'm going live, and please share this out for other people, because you never know who might need these little tidbits of information, and you can help them. So thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you live here again next Monday on Live Fit with Tanya.